Hello and welcome back to Hot to the Top. Hope you're all doing well today and you're prepared for the final episode of Season 8 where we could win another Swiss Cup final and we could also go unbeaten throughout the entire season, become the Invincibles and get a records points total as well. It's all to play for today. So, since you were last here for the disappointment against Bayern Munich, after beating them in the first leg, we came 4-1 in the second leg, although that final few goals came when we were really trying to push for a goal to get the away goals through, essentially. We came a bit unlucky at the end. But either way, it doesn't matter too much, because every single game we've played after that, we have won in superb fashion, only conceding 2 goals across all those games. We started off with a 2-0 win in the league against Lugano, Smith and Nunes with the goals in that one, before we beat them 4-1 in the Swiss Cup semi-final. Nunes with 2 and Bottles with 2 in that one. In front of a packed out crowd, we beat big rivals Zurich 4-0. Guardado, Randy Schneider, Bottles, and then an own goal from former player Marvin Keller to make sure we won that one 4-0. Marvin Keller used to be a backup goalkeeper for us, but we let him go. He ended up going to big rival Zurich. Did very well to get them promoted from the Challenge League this season, and actually is doing okay this season. He has conceded 61 goals, but Zurich are clear at the moment of the relegation playoff spot, which is good going. So he's been doing okay for them at the moment, but also helped us out massively with an own goal in that game. We then beat Lausanne 1-0 with Nunes getting the goal in that one before beating big rivals Young Boys 3-1, Thad Davies, Jurich and Nunes with the goals in that one before we beat St Gallen 3-0 with McQuaid, Smith and Bottles on the score sheets. So a few things to note from that. Obviously we've won every single one of those games, and what that means is we actually have won the Swiss Super League already. We expected that to be the case anyway because we were unbeaten so far this season. We didn't think that we'd be in a situation where we wouldn't win the league title at this stage. So that comes as no surprise. Really, we are champions and we could go on to 98 points, which would be a record in the Swiss Super League should we win the final 2 games of the season. You'll have also noticed that Matthew Bottles has scored quite a few goals. Well, he's up to 29 in the league now, and overall in all competitions he's up to 45. So only 5 away with 3 games to go to that big 50. Can he do it today? I'd like to think so. He's eclipsed the 43 goals that he got a couple seasons ago, so doing fantastically well this season. So fantastic. Thank you very much, Matthew Bottles, for your contributions. Secondly, you'll also notice that Sergio Nunes has been picking up plenty of goals as well. The coaches now rate him as 5-star current ability, which is pretty good going. And he's also got 5 goals in the league to match that, 7 in all competitions over 18 games. I think that's a pretty decent return. So I think he was a great signing for us. Hopefully the Bottles-Nunes combination will work out today in the Swiss Cup final as we take on Basel, looking for another bit of silverware to add to our collection from this save. Kalas is in goal with a backline of Guardado, Ross McQuaid, Sterigu and Cruz. Pedro and Schneider make up that midfield partnership with Alvarado, Nunes and Billy Schmidt as the attacking midfield. I was going to say wing-backs, but I don't know why I was going to say wing-backs then. But attacking midfield of those trio. And then, of course, Bottles leading the line for us up front. Come on, boys. Let's go and claim another Swiss Cup. So then, kickoff is upon us here today, which is fantastic stuff. And we have a highlight coming for us very early on as Guardado plays it in towards Nunes, who puts it out towards Randy Schneider. Across to Billy Schmidt, which is a good ball. Billy Schmidt to put this one into the middle. Gets it in the middle. Alvarado's there. It's blocked by the defender. And unfortunately, actually was offside in the end. So free kick given to Basel. But a good little move from us early on in the game. Of course, Basel are a very good side. They've obviously been in the Champions League. They've been in the Europa League this season. And obviously, they are second in the table. And they've just taken the lead against us in the Swiss Cup. And I was about to say, if anyone can beat us to the Swiss Cup this season, then it would be Basel. We're playing them in the final. And DeMarco has just scored a very good free kick, I've got to say. Now, if we lose this game, it would be if we lose today's game, that would be the 3rd competitive loss that we've had all season. The only games we've lost so far was that 4-1 loss to Bayern Munich, and we lost to Schalke in the group stages as well. So if we lose today against Basel, they join an illustrious little set of teams that have managed to beat us this season. Unfortunately for Basel, Randy Schneider just scored his 14th goal of the season, assisted by Matthew Bottles there. We've grabbed one back. Bottles, I want you to score 2 or 3 goals today to make sure you get close to 50 goals and have a great chance of reaching that, because that would be fantastic. But get assists, that's fine as well. Assists also count in my books towards goal contributions, which he's had an awful lot of this season, I've got to say. He must have nearly 60 goal contributions, including assists and things like that. So fair play to him. But back on level terms, what isn't level are the stats. We've not really been in this game much at all, with only 2 shots, I've got to say. Very even possession as well, 50-50. Nunes floats across into the middle. It's cleared, but only as far as Randy Schneider. Schneider on the ball across to Nunes in a superb position to put that one in the back of the net. His 8th of the season. What an assist for Randy Schneider as well. And just like that, we have the ability in our squad to just turn things around effortlessly, I've got to say. This is kind of why I'm just sort of thinking I need to end the save very soon. Obviously, we're ending at the end of 10 seasons, but it's just becoming so easy domestically for us now, and there's not really enough... we're not good enough yet to win a Champions League. That's the sort of thing, and it's going to take an awful long time to actually get a squad that is capable of winning it outright without a bit of luck and things like that we've had in some games, I've got to say. Half-time, 2-1 is pretty good going. I did think it would be more challenging domestically, but I suppose we've just developed so well that we do some good transfer business. We've got some obviously very good tactics that seem to work out. Not that I've really put much effort into them. It's just like the default Football Manager tactics that I just like to use because I'm rubbish with tactics. But we've also got players like Matthew Bottles, who was an absolute bargain when we bought him, all right? We bought him off the transfer list at Roma for 950k. His first season wasn't actually very good at all, really, when you look at it. But his previous 3 seasons have been absolutely incredible. He's now got 46 goals in all competitions this season. What a player he has turned out to be. We just need that little bit extra to do it domestic. We just need that little bit extra to be able to do it at a continental level. We have done it at a continental level. We won the Europa League. It's just the Champions League that is evading us right now, and I think we're going to get very close to it at the end of the 10th season. Very, very close. If we do, we do it. If we don't, we don't. We move on to the next thing. That's what we're going to do. I've said that now, and I don't want to be just going on season after season with Grasshoppers, because I know you guys are getting a little bit bored of it now, as Nunez puts a free kick in the back of the net. His 9th of the season, 2nd of the game. I think we've put this game to bed now, haven't we? So as we whittle down the final few moments of today's game and we go into added time, we'll switch over to the 3D camera to make sure we can witness ourselves lifting the trophy. There we go. Another Swiss Cup trophy to add to the collection. Now, the players look absolutely ecstatic. I always find this really weird. Why is the confetti only on one side of the pitch? That just seems really weird to me, but there we go. It's just what happens sometimes with Football Manager. Clearly, we won 4-1. Fantastic stuff. Is that the 5th one we've won in a row? Let's have a look at the history. Past winners. That is the 5th title we've won in a row. Pretty impressive. No other team has done that at all, ever. No other team has ever done that before. We won 4 in a row once before in the late 1930s, 1940s. This is the first time a team has ever won 5 in a row, which is, I've got to say, impressive. And yet we only get £337,000 for winning that. Let's actually have a quick look at the Swiss Cup still. It's still only the 2nd best cup competition in all of Europe, just behind the FA Cup. I'm not sure it'll ever overtake the FA Cup because the FA Cup really is very good. And if anything, I'd say the Swiss Cup should start to go down because we've won it 5 years in a row now. Surely that's quite boring. If loads of different clubs keep winning it, surely that makes the cup more reputable. Surely winning it 5 times in a row makes it just really boring and no one wants to watch it. So that's kind of my thinking on it, at least. Now, I didn't actually make any substitutes in that game, which was probably a bad idea because we have got Sion coming up, who are historically a bit of a bogey side for us. And with 2 games to go, we're still unbeaten. If any team is going to beat us, it probably would be Sion. That's what I'm thinking. So we need to be at our very best taking them on today. Now, obviously, we are going to make a couple changes out there. Billy Schmitz is apparently on international duty already. What's that about, lad? He's on international duty with Switzerland under 20s already. I'm not pleased with that one. He's going to have to come off the pitch for Capitania. I was going to swap him anyway, but that's a bit frustrating about him there. We're also going to have to make changes at the back. Ross McQuaid will swap out for Haroldinho Bunce, and we'll bring Ross McQuaid back onto the bench. Schneider and Pedro both looking tired, so Juric and Simmons will come on the pitch for those two to swap out. That should be a fairly straightforward swap. Nunez also looking tired, so we'll put Alex Smith on the pitch for him instead. But other than that, the team looks relatively fit and raring to go, so I'm pretty pleased with that lineup. Please don't screw things up against Sion, lads. So then, kickoff is upon us here today against Sion. Looking forward to this one. Hopefully, Bottles will bag himself a hat-trick. He's on 46 goals now. 4 more goals needed in 2 games. He'll get to that magic 50 then, and that will just complete me. Now, 50 goals is a lot, but it's not actually the most that I've ever had from a player in a season before. Back in FM12, which is still my favourite Football Manager, probably just because of a save, really. I had 2 strikers in my Lincoln City squad that both got over 60 goals in a season, in the same season. That was phenomenal. So I want to know in the comment section down below, who's the best striker you've ever had on Football Manager and how many goals did they get in a season? I'd love to know, as Sion are through. And Kalas makes a very good save, and I was already waiting to have the impending bottle job, you're not invincible comments coming after that goal went in. But fortunately, they haven't come in. What is unfortunate, though, is that we haven't actually scored a goal yet after 30 minutes of playing against a team that are in the relegation playoffs right now, which isn't great. And just like that, we've reached half-time very quickly, 0-0. Now, obviously, the main part of this is just not losing because we want to be invincible, but we have to win this game and the next game against Toon to reach 98 points. If we draw today, the maximum we can get is 96 points, and that's only equaling the record that we set, not breaking it. But Sterigu gets his first goal of the season, only the first goal of the season. Fair play. He's got his first goal now. He's made it 1-0 to us. And as it stands right now, we are still on track to reach that magic 98 points. It's not quite 100. We've had too many draws to get 100 points this season, which is really frustrating, I've got to say. But we're going to be very close to it. 98 points is good going. And at least it leaves us with a challenge for next season or the season afterwards to try and get 100 points in the Swiss Super League. As Xavi Simons on the ball, puts it in towards Capitano, collected by the goalkeeper there. Really should have done better, that Capitano, I've got to say. Bottles, unfortunately, not playing particularly well. We're going to say get creative out there. Bottles has to score today to try and get to close to that 50 goals. I can't really see him scoring 4 goals against Toon, unfortunately. He has scored 4 goals in a game before, but it's unlikely, I suppose, in the final game of the season. As Alvarado doubles our lead there, only his 4th goal of this season. Again, I feel like we made a bit of a mistake putting all our trust in him, allowing Bernard to go. I think we probably should have kept hold of Bernard, even though he was sold for 25 million, which is money we needed, and we brought in Alvarado for only £6 million. He's just not quite been the signing that I thought he was going to be. His ratings have gone down a little bit. He's just not that good anymore. So I think we need to look to replace him over summer, I've got to say, which is a bit of a shame, really, considering that he was meant to be the player we had for the rest of the series, really. As Bottles makes a good tackle there into the area, is denied just about there, which is unfortunate. We're going to make a couple changes out there. We're going to bring on Suarez for Juric, who's looking complacent. A lot of players looking complacent out there, which isn't fantastic. Capitano is going to come off for Jordan Platt. And then we want to give Felipe Cruz a rest and bring Callum Brennan on the pitch, because Felipe Cruz is the player that we want to be using in the next game, of course, as well, because he's just so good. I do think, though, this might be the last time you see Felipe Cruz in an episode. Obviously, we've had him for a long time, just constantly on loan from Benfica, and for whatever reason, they always like to just give him to us. But it's getting to the stage now where there's probably better players available to us now at right back to actually use and buy in permanently, sort of thing. I feel like whilst Cruz has been an absolute servant to the club, it's time for us to move on a little bit. But you never know what's going to happen. He'll probably be back next season anyway, but I think there are some right backs out there that we probably could sign. As we've won 2-0 against Sion, fantastic stuff. 1 game to go against Toon. As long as we don't lose it, we will be the Swiss Invincibles. I mean, Felipe Cruz. I just said perhaps we can get someone better in than him. His current ability is 4 stars, which is very, very good. I still think we can maybe get someone a little bit better than that coming into the squad next season. But saying that, he's just very good. And his average ratings, the lowest one he's had at the club is a 7.39 average rating. That's the lowest average rating he's had across his 5 seasons at the club. Like, I don't really think I think we probably get him back anyway. We get him back anyway. But I do want to try and cast the net out a little bit and see what else is out there. So a nice week off, a nice long rest before the game against Toon. And then as long as we don't lose it, we will become invincible. Invincible. That's the word, not invincible. Invincible. And that would be an absolutely massive achievement. Should probably let you know as well, when we won the title, we were given our transfer budget for next season. The wage has gone up a nice amount to about 750k per week, which is good going, up from about 650k, which it was this season. Transfer budget's only £17 million, but as we are getting towards the end of this Hop to the Top save, we can start to do some never transfers where we offer like £1 million up front and then like £100 million in the future, but we're never going to pay because, of course, the series ends in season 10, which is... We've got season 9 and season 10 to go, so 2 seasons left. We can start to do some never-ever transfer sort of thing. Potentially, that is a little bit cheaty because, that you wouldn't do that normally, would you, in a normal club? Because obviously, you don't just end a club, do you, like that, I suppose, or a series. You know what I'm trying to say. So it is potentially a little bit cheaty, but I don't really care at this stage. Oh, as ever, the assistant manager is really hands-on and loves a friendly match and has already organised a few for next season already against Hanover, Bellinzona, Copenhagen and Shakhtar Donetsk, apparently, which is, I don't understand why he just loves the friendlies so much, but he honestly, I think he spends more time organising friendlies than anything else. But here we are for the final game of the season and a chance for us to become the Invincibles. We'll bring Pedro back on the pitch and we'll bring Randy Schneider. No, let's leave Juric on for the final game of the season. Let's give him a run out. I like Juric. He needs a bit more game time. Let's leave him on there. We'll leave Alex Smith on the pitch as well because I want to get him playing in the Invincible squad right at the end. We'll bring on Ross McQuaid at the back once again. I think these two swap over if I remember rightly because he is right-footed Haroldinho Bunce. There we go. I would put Billy Schmitz on, but he's currently on international break. But we'll put Thad Davis back on the bench instead of Callum Brennan for now. But for me, that lineup is pretty good, so we're going to stick with it and hopefully win the game. So kickoff is upon us. Bottles, I need you to score 4 goals today. We need to win 4-0 and Bottles need to score all 4 of them if he wants to try and get 50 goals this season. It's not looking likely, I've got to say, especially as we only had 3 shots in the first 20 minutes or so. That's not fantastic. Let's go very attacking. That might help us out a little bit. Also, that is quite risky because obviously, ultimately, we want to become Invincibles and going very attacking probably isn't the best defensive option for it. Toon are a side in the top half of the table in 5th right now, playing European football next season. So they are a good side. They develop themselves quite nicely. As Alex Smith opens the scoring for us today with a goal from a header from Ross McQuaid from a free kick. A nice little set piece, I've got to say. And Smith caps that one off for us. But we want Bottles to score the goals. Please, Bottles, do the business for us as Toon have a free kick clear, but only as far as their own players on the edge of the area. As Pedro gives away a penalty, it's going to go to VAR. Pedro, I've got to say, has been a phenomenal player this season. Really pleased with him. I'm very pleased with him and Randy Schneider as our midfield duo, essentially. I think they are probably the pairing that I'm going to stick with going forwards, I've got to say, as the referee has decided to give a penalty. Come on, Kalas, make a decent save. Now, obviously, drawing today's game isn't the end of the world, as we are doing right now, but we want to win it because we want to get the records points total. There is a highlight, though, straight from kickoff. Come on, then. Come on, let's see what you're made of, boys. Out towards Capitano. Good ball there from Haroldinho Bunce as he gets tackled, although Haroldinho Bunce collects the loose ball. Back to Felipe Cruz, who puts it in towards Juric, into Alex Smith, the goal scorer. Back to Pedro. Pedro back to Alex Smith, into Juric. Come on, lads, sort this one out. Out to Felipe Cruz. Great ball there. Swing it into Bottles. Into Bottles. That's Alvarado, not Bottles. And if that was Bottles, he probably would have scored, I've got to say. You know what? I'm not liking what I'm seeing from Bottles. He's bottling the final few games of the season and deciding that he doesn't want to get to 50 goals, which is rather frustrating, I've got to say. Neither of our wingers playing particularly well as we go into the break 1-1 with Toon. Aggressively, not happy with your performance out there. Sort this one out. I'm expecting better. Get creative out there. Come on, Capitano on a 6.3, Alvarado 6.5, Bottles 6.5. That's not what we're used to in this Grasshoppers side. I can't believe... I think we're actually going to go and draw this game, aren't we? We're actually going to go and draw this game. Schneider, get yourself on the pitch instead of Juric. Nunez, come on, get yourself on the pitch instead of Alex Smith. Although he's on a 7 rating, but he did score the goal, so that's probably why he's on there. Oh, he can't go on the pitch because that means we'll have more than 5 non-EU players. Guardado, Pedro, Capitano, Alvarado and Nunez. Oh, the point being that putting Nunez on would be more than 5 players. Okay. In that instance then, it means we have to take someone off who is South American. And that's probably Pedro, but Pedro's playing the best, isn't he? Thad Davis can play left back. So be a hero, lad. You can swap out for Guardado as we bring Nunez on for Alex Smith. That sort of keeps with the quota of 4. I've completely forgot that was even like a rule. Non-EU players, no more than 5 on the pitch at the same time. That's something to think about because I have actually scouted out all of like the Brazil, Uruguay, Argentina sides. Perhaps I need to rethink my transfer policy a little bit. That's not great, actually, is it? As Tuna coming forward, Pedro with a good tackle there. That's why he's still on the pitch. Up towards Matthew Bottles, who's in behind the defence. His shot is wayward in the end, though. Show some passion, lads. At the moment, we're only going to equal the points record, not beat it. I mean, we are invincible. We can celebrate that, but we haven't got the points record. It's kind of mixed because I was desperate for that points record. We've only equaled the points record, but at the same time, we are invincible. All right, we're in. No losses across this entire season. I thought I might get an achievement for that, but I haven't got an achievement for it, which is kind of frustrating. I suppose we lost 2 games in the Champions League, so that might count towards the Steam achievements. I think I was just more excited about the points record more than anything else, but it does leave us with a challenge now, doesn't it, I suppose, because we want to try and break that points record and get 100 points in a season over the next 2 seasons at some point. So that's another challenge to look forward to. But if we look at the schedule, I mean, just what an incredible season it's been. We've only lost 2 games all season, a 2-0 loss against Schalke and a 4-1 loss to Bayern Munich. We lost a friendly, actually, to St. Pauli. We probably lost a few friendlies in pre-season, one to Orlando City. But other than that, in competitive fixtures, we've only lost 2 games. We've failed to score in 1, 2, 3, 4... Only 4 games we've failed to score in this season. That is pretty incredible, I've got to say. And I'm not quite sure how many goals we've scored in total, but most of them have come from the boy Matthew Bottles with 46. Schneider's managed to get himself 14. And then Nunes actually is up with 9, to be fair. So we rely heavily on Bottles for the goals. Outside of Bottles and Schneider and arguably Nunes, there aren't really that many goals, I've got to say. 7 for Soares, who hasn't actually played... He's played 18 starts, 18 substitute appearances, 7 goals. That's a decent return, I've got to say, so that's fair play. Felipe Cruz with 15 assists, Randy Schneider with 13, Capitano with 8, Alex Smith with 6, as well as Guardado. We only conceded 14 goals in the league as well this season, which is good going. Only scored 77, which isn't actually that many compared to other seasons. We scored 82 this last season, 104 the season before that. 63 the season before that, which wasn't actually that many either, but then 81 the season before that. So quite low for goals scored, but goals against is absolutely incredible. So that is another season out of the way for Grasshoppers. We've got 2 more to go, and hopefully we'll come closer to winning a Champions League at some point there and break the 100 points total in the Swiss Super League. We've become invincible as well, which is fantastic. Invincible is a title that you love to have on your team, so I think we can be very proud of that one as well. Now, next season is going to start on Tuesday next week because I am away this weekend in Wales for a long weekend. I'm not back until late on Monday, so expect a video out on Tuesday. We will have some videos over the weekend, but they will be GeoGuessr videos, not Hop to the Top videos or anything like that. So look forward to those ones over the weekend, and I will see you back on Tuesday for some Hop to the Top. So thank you ever so much for watching. I'll see you then. Goodbye.